There is one simple thing that separates great leaders from everybody else. Putting it another way, if you could do this one thing, people would love working with you. They would probably stick around longer, they would probably grow tremendously, they'd probably follow you anywhere, and your life would probably be a lot easier as a leader. I'm gonna tell you what it is here in this episode and show you how you can have it. Let's jump in. Welcome to Leadership Unplugged. We'll show you what real leadership sounds like. Now this story really begins with a client of mine, an ex-client of mine named Steve. That's what we're gonna call him for this episode anyway. I don't want to use anybody's real names. And Steve had had an assistant for years, but he had learned over time that this assistant would regularly drop the ball if he didn't remind her of things, and so he just got used to it. He just would regularly micromanage, and in fact, that's exactly how he shared with me. He goes, this just is what it is to work with her. This is just what's normal. This one secret that I'm about to share with you is what Steve used to turn everything around. And 4 weeks after Steve put this to use, he came to me and he shared that everything was different. She had more pep in her step. She was enjoying her job a lot more, and he hadn't had to remind her of anything for weeks. What was this one thing that Steve did differently? Because he'd been managing her for years a certain way, and he made one change that made everything different. I'm gonna tell you how it works. So what is it Steve had done? What is this one thing that great leaders do that everybody else struggles with? Well, Steve had gotten her to hear his feedback. See, giving feedback is the hallmark of a great leader, but giving feedback is the easy part. The catch is you gotta get people to hear the feedback. What Steve had done so well is he had changed how he had delivered the feedback so that she was able to hear it and take action on it. You see, anybody can give people feedback. Yeah, it might take a little courage, a little conviction, or a little fire in your belly to tell somebody something they don't want to hear, but telling them's not the hard part. It's getting them to hear you, and changing how you approach them in the first place is what Steve did and what you can do in order to become an exceptional leader. When you get good at this, you'll be able to give feedback to anyone, and it'll be like a superpower because you'll be able to lead anybody anywhere. So how do you actually get someone to hear you? Well, there's two different ways you can go about it. The first is that you can just ask. Believe it or not, you can just ask somebody, how would you like me to give you feedback if I needed to do that? You can just ask somebody, hey, what's the best way for me to hold you accountable if I need to do that as your boss? Or hey, part of my job as your boss might be to give you tough feedback at some point in our relationship. What would be the best way for me to approach you so that I could do that and you'd actually be able to hear me? You could use any one of those and just ask them how they would prefer to hear feedback. We call it the rules of engagement here at the Language of Leadership, but you can just ask people. And if you do that ahead of time, before you have actual feedback to give them, you'll know exactly what to do and how to do it. And they'll know what you're doing when the time comes. But if you haven't done that, and you actually do need to go give somebody feedback, the second path is what we call enrollment. Enrollment is the art and skill of getting somebody to voluntarily participate in a conversation that they otherwise might resist. And enrollment sounds something along these lines. I might come to you and say, hey Steve, I'd really like to help you get to that next level of your career here, but I gotta be honest, there's one really important thing that's gonna get in your way. If you'd let me, I would share it with you and try to help you through it. Would you be open to that? It's an enrollment statement. Almost nobody says no to a good enrollment statement. The first part of a good enrollment statement is, well, helping someone realize what's in it for them. That's the critical missing piece. When you just start lobbing feedback at people, they're not sure what's in it for them to get better at it. They don't know if it's just your preference. They don't know if their job's on the line. They don't know if you're just annoyed that day. And so a lot of times it goes in one ear and out the other. That's why it doesn't result in any action. The game is to get them to connect the dots between what you're saying and what's in it for them. And if you can start with a really good hook, a really good what's in it for them, or what you want for them, well, that's gonna open their ears and their mind to listening to you. And the great news is there's really only 4 types of things that are really in it for somebody. The types of things people want all tend to be the same. So you can lean on these pretty heavily. Almost everybody wants future opportunities. That means they want skill development, they want promotions, they want raises, they want bonuses, and even if they're in the twilight of their career, they want the next several weeks or years or months of their career to go smoothly. Future opportunities are almost always something we can start or what I want with you. Almost everybody also wants personal brand. This is the second type of thing everybody wants. Almost everybody wants to be viewed with respect and confidence. They want to be liked by their peers. They want their input to be valued and heard. That's personal brand. Almost everybody wants it. The third thing almost everybody wants is joy. Almost everybody wants to like their job more, and they want less stress. So if you can tie whatever you have to share with them to more joy, more flexibility, less stress, they'll probably have ears to hear you. And the last thing, and I hope you don't have to use this one, but almost everybody wants to keep their job. And if you're at that point in the relationship where they either change or they don't have a job anymore, that can be a heck of an enrollment statement as well. Hey, if you're liking this content, if you like being challenged as a leader and learning what it really sounds like to have these conversations, make sure and click the subscribe button and check back each week for new episodes. Once you've enrolled them, then you're actually in the conversation and it's time to share the feedback with them. And whatever you're going to share with them, hopefully you've got some evidence or some ammunition, but the game is to share it without any sort of assumptions. See, sometimes we sabotage what we're about to say to somebody inadvertently. And so we would say, here's the thing I need to tell you. Oh, and I know you do it because you don't have childcare on Tuesdays. Right? That's a positively assumed. The reason they're doing it is because they have something else getting in the way. Or we might say, and I know you don't care about this, right? We make a lot of assumptions that undermine what we're going to say. Don't do that. Simply tell the person, you've been late for the last 3 weeks. You've been missing details in your reporting. You've been rude to clients via email. Whatever the thing is, just share it with them and then ask them a question. You see, the reason this hasn't worked in the past for you might be because they don't know what's in it for them to change, and that's what we address with enrollment. But it also might be that they just don't understand that the action they're taking is causing a certain impact. We have to get them to fuse together the action and the impact, and the only way to do that is not to tell them, but to ask them what impact they think that's having. And so when you share the thing with them, whatever it was, because you have their attention, because you enrolled them, you then ask them an open-ended question. It sounds like, well, what impact do you think that's having? Or what impact do you think that has on how the bosses view you and your reliability? Or what impact do you think that has on your peers and their confidence in working with you? You can ask that question a few different ways. But if you can ask that impact question and make them tell you what impact their actions are having, now you have a shared source of truth where you can help them take action to drive change, and that's the next step. Once they've connected the dots between their actions and the impact that it's having, once they've actually fused that together in their minds, you might see a light bulb go off. You might see this person finally recognize why what they've been doing is so detrimental to their career or their joy or their next opportunities, whatever it might be. And if you don't, that's okay. You might need to share with them a little bit more and teach them a little bit in that moment. But the end of the game comes when you help that person translate that recognition into an action. What are they going to do about it? And similar to before, you don't just tell them what they need to do, you need to ask them. So now that you realize this is the impact you've been having, what can you do differently about it? Now that you recognize that this is how your peers might be feeling about you, what can you do next time? Put the ball back in their court. Make them come up with their own plan for what they're going to do about it. Now again, they may flounder a little bit, and don't hesitate to help them in that moment, but make them go first. And the game is to get them to tell you what they're going to do, and then to ask some open-ended questions, might begin with who, what, when, where, or how, in order to help them think a little more thoroughly about their plan, in order to challenge a few of the assumptions they may be making or come up with a better plan on their own. Get them to tell you what they're going to do, help them level up their thinking, and then ask them when they can go start to make that change. Hey, when could you apply that? When could you start doing that? When could you go talk to that person? Get them to commit to a specific action with some leveled up details because you asked good questions, and then simply go hold them accountable to it. This is how you drive change. And this is what the best leaders in the world do. They get the light bulb to go off, and they help that person go and drive change in their own behavior, attitude, perception, habit, whatever it was. We like that. We want to work at organizations where we feel like our boss is helping us move forward in the things that matter to us in our lives. And when you have that type of impact on the people that you lead, they're going to work harder for you, they're going to stick around longer, they're going to be more receptive, they're going to get better at their jobs, and ultimately they're going to make your life a lot easier. So what do you do to make that happen? Well, the first thing is you got to either have some rules of engagement or you got to go enroll them. Get their attention by helping them understand what's in it for them to hear your feedback. And then you give them the feedback. Share it without any sort of assumptions. Ask them that impact question so that they tell you what impact it's having instead of it going in one ear and out the ear because you told them again what they were doing wrong. Help them lay out their own plan for change. What can they do differently? Help them build some agency and understanding of what they can do differently next time, and then hold them accountable to implementing it. When you get good at this, it's a superpower for you. You level up your team dramatically, and you love your life as a leader a lot more. Now, right now, here's my challenge for you. Right now, you can think of one type of feedback or one piece of feedback you wish you could give somebody. Maybe you've tried dozens of times, maybe you've never said it out loud before. But take a second here right now in this video, hit pause, and write down what's in it for them to hear you. Is it all about joy for them and making their life better? Is it all about future opportunities? Do they care about their personal brand a lot? Do they just need to keep their job? Whatever it is, write it down. You're now one step closer. Go enroll that person in a conversation, share this feedback, and help them grow. They're gonna love you for it. Now, if you had done this several times before, you would be better at it. And that's what we do at the Academy. We We help people practice these most impactful and challenging conversations so that when the time comes, they can go do it with real skill. Well, the time has come for you to be a real leader. If you want to, come and check out the Academy in the future. So I'll leave you with that. You can go and be a great leader, and it can start today if you go enroll somebody and get them to hear the feedback that's going to advance their life. If you like this video and you want more, take a second, click the subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.